Welcome to Tedder Talks, Rehoboth Beach, a monthly video program in which we feature people and issues that impact the city of Rehoboth Beach. I'm City Manager Taylour Tedder, and today we're going to be talking about something that I'm very passionate about, the city's first strategic plan. One of the things that I noticed when I first started my position as city manager in May was that the community seemed pulled in different directions and uncertain of where it exactly wanted to go and how to get there. I felt it was important to create a strategic plan that clearly delineates a vision for our community and outlines priorities for staff. We've hired Emergent Method, a national consulting firm, to guide the city through this planning process, which includes several community engagement opportunities, and to develop the strategic plan that will set a vision and develop priorities for city staff over the next 5-year period or so. We're currently in the midst of the information gathering and community input phases of this project, and the plan itself is expected to be ready for presentation next spring. Welcome to Rehoboth Beach, Robyn.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here with you.
So I'm so glad that you're in town to hold the listening sessions and talk to us all things strategic planning here with Tedder Talks.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a really great opportunity to listen to the community and really hear from the diversity of voices that you have in this community.
So a lot of people aren't sure what a strategic plan is. Can you talk a little bit about what a strategic plan is and its various components?
Strategic planning is really a chance for any community to come together, to have conversations on what they care about, and to identify really where they're going to be spending their time, their money, their effort in the coming years around shared priorities. It's a time to take have some conversations around what you really value as a community, and also ultimately to guide the work of the city and its official municipal capacity in the future.
So why is it important for communities like Rehoboth Beach to have a strategic plan?
This is really an opportunity for the city to come together to coalesce around a vision and a mission. What does it want to be as it looks to the future, and where is it going to spend its time and priorities? A city can focus on a variety of different things. There's no limit to where you could focus your efforts. This allows for those conversations to happen in a bit more of an orderly way so that you're both learning about your community and hopefully building some consensus with your neighbors around where you want the city to go in the future.
The city has a very thorough comprehensive development plan. It's state mandated, and a lot of people have commented that that's enough, that the CDP is the end all be all of plans. We don't need a strategic plan. It is a strategic plan, things of that nature. So from your perspective, what does a strategic plan accomplish that the comprehensive development plan does not?
Right. So I think the really key word there is that it is a very comprehensive plan. So one of the first things that I did when we got started on this project is spend some time going through all 344 pages of that plan. So when I say comprehensive, I really mean comprehensive. And that is really a testament to the work that was done in the last few years. One of the things that I will note that in addition to being a 344-page document, that process was also started in 2018. So I don't know about you, but I can certainly say that the world looks very different from my vantage point in 2024 than it did in even 2020, let alone in 2018. And so those 6 years have represented a lot of change, both in our society and also in our communities. And so while there is really excellent data that can and that is being used out of that CDP, this is an opportunity to revisit some of those questions and really ground truth that data, because 6 years is a long period of time.
I know that you've been poring over the responses that we received from the community survey that we posted to Reach Out Rehoboth. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about the response rate? How, did Rehoboth get a good response?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really hot off the presses. The survey closed just last week. First of all, I want to give a big thank you to all members of the community who chose to participate in that survey. A survey really only is as good as its response rate, and so I am super pleased to share that we had an excellent response rate. We had over 255 responses in total. That represents about 75% of those folks in the survey who are from Rehoboth Beach, the city of Rehoboth Beach. So that represents folks who either live in the city, own property, or a very, very small handful of folks who own businesses in Rehoboth. So incredible response rate. What that means in terms of overall population is that we've got about a 12% response rate when you look at the actual population of the city itself. That is incredibly strong, given that this really was a survey where folks had an equal opportunity to participate, but we did not phone, we did not knock knock doors. This really was a convenience way of getting feedback. Comparatively, what this looks like is it is unusual to have a double-digit response rate for a community where you aren't paying to call out to people or knocking on doors to get that number of responses up. So incredibly strong. Comparatively speaking, I would have been thrilled with a 4 or 5% response rate. That's normally what it looks like, especially within some larger communities.
What are a couple of the themes that you've noticed from some of the survey responses so far?
Yeah, so again, hot off the presses because that survey closed just a few days ago, but there's clearly some consensus and some themes from the folks who participated. And I think the fact that there are clear themes really makes me excited for some of the upcoming listening sessions. Some of the things that we've heard as we've begun to go through that data are that there's really a sense of pride in the city. Folks love being here. Often folks mentioned that there was a significant level of history. Many folks have either been coming to the area or who have lived here for a variety of decades. So that civic pride, that love of the city, incredibly present. Some of the areas of opportunity that I would see are probably not going to be surprising to you or the folks who are listening to this as you think about sort of what you hear and even conversations with your family or your neighbors. I think that there's a desire to see a little bit more of that ease of accessibility within the city. So when it comes to things like transportation, parking, those things are very top of mind, as well as really a sense of pride and a continued desire to see high levels of maintenance for many of the wonderful public amenities that you have here, including the beach and the boardwalk.
How does the community stakeholder input that you're gathering help shape the strategic plan?
Yeah, great question. So I mentioned that in addition to that really strong response rate for the survey, that we also have some upcoming listening sessions. All of this feeds into the overall direction of the strategic plan. Ultimately, a strategic plan is really only as strong as the level of participation that it gets from the community. And so we're off to a really good start. In the coming weeks, we're going to be holding a series of listening sessions that are open to all members of our community. So I strongly encourage participation there. During those listening sessions, we'll be doing just that, really listening to better understand where you see areas of opportunity and where you want the city to focus its efforts in the coming years. All of this is being fed towards a steering committee that is made up of folks from within the city who are going to be hearing and responding to that feedback and ultimately using it to make decisions on where there is kind of an area of consensus on priority as we look to the next few years.
And once the plan is in place and adopted, what are some best practices that you've seen for implementing key components of the strategic plan? I guess I'm asking, how do we make sure that the plan is a valuable tool and not just something collecting dust on a shelf?
Right. So the whole point of this planning process is that it is representative, but that ultimately leads to a document that is used. And when I say used, I mean not just taken off that shelf once a quarter and dusted off to be revisited, but really the ideal strategic plan to me is one that maybe has some coffee rings on it, that sits on a desk, that is earmarked, and that has some Post-its on it. It's a working document that really represents the shared commitment of the community and also the priorities that are being used to drive forward investment at the city level. We intentionally build out metrics within the strategic plan as well as an accompanying implementation plan to go along with the strategic plan. Those documents are meant to be helpful tools to make sure that that strategic plan does get to the state where it has those coffee rings on it, has those earmarks. The implementation plan includes not only metrics for how you can measure success, so it's not just something that you think of as, oh, well, I think we made a little bit of progress. You actually get to see and measure the output of what you've committed to doing, but it also has timelines. So it serves as a bit of a contract with the community itself and also the folks that are at the table to make sure that there's that shared buy-in to what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and what you can expect to see through implementing and reaching and achieving some of those goals.
Robyn, thanks so much for joining me for Tedder Talks for Rehoboth Beach. I'm so grateful for your efforts and ensuring that we're hearing from our community members, and I'm excited to see the strategic plan and the path forward that develops as a result. And thank you for joining us too. I hope you'll come back next month for a new episode of Tedder Talks.